Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Tonight, New York lawmakers are talking about how to keep people with a roof over their heads. The state's eviction moratorium expired on Saturday. It helped struggling tenants during the pandemic, but some landlords say it left them struggling. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst joins us with the latest.
Good evening, and state lawmakers are working right now to extend the moratorium by several more months. One lawmaker I spoke with says that she hopes the moratoriums will continue to help tenants as well as landlords. Members of the New York Assembly gathered on Monday to vote on extending the state's moratorium on evictions. If passed, the protections would last until the end of August.
This bill is intended to walk a fine line where we are minimizing economic disruption to the best of our ability.
Assemblywoman Ann Kell says the extension to the moratorium would continue to help residents who have struggled with job loss during the pandemic. However, landlords have raised concerns about revenue loss from tenants not paying back their rent. Several weeks ago, local landlords ordered the Chemung County Chamber of Commerce to study how much money was owed to them, arguing some tenants were taking advantage of the system.
They understand, certain tenants are having COVID-19 related hardships, and those tenants are in many cases eligible for relief on a state level. But what we're hearing from landlords is that there's more individuals than just those that are impacted by COVID-19 who are not currently paying their rent.
Assemblywoman Kell says the moratorium would work to help landlords as well as tenants.
Do I believe that this bill is purely a tenant bill? I don't. This is, in my view, a tenant landlord bill.
Kells hopes this will be the last time the eviction ban will be extended. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
COVID cases are down and more states and schools are reopening, but the CDC is coming under fire for its guidelines on in-person learning and teacher safety. Jonathan Seri has the latest from Atlanta.
New COVID cases and hospitalizations are declining in the U.S. as the vaccination effort expands. The positive numbers are resulting in more school reopenings, but a growing number of districts are now relaxing quarantine rules for students who have been exposed, breaking with CDC guidelines. The trend follows a new report alleging one of the country's biggest teachers' unions influenced CDC policy on school reopenings, leading to new questions from some lawmakers on whether the CDC was putting students first.
There's more money going to the school systems and to the unions, and yet they still won't open, not because the CDC says it's not safe, but because they don't want to.
A handful of states are still seeing increases, but overall rates of infection are down nationwide. More states are starting to reopen, including Nevada, where capacity limits on the Vegas Strip increased to 80% this weekend, with restaurants and casinos reporting a big boom in business.
Bringing people together and enjoying, and people having a good time. It's just the pent-up energy I felt.
But it's a different story in India, where a travel ban to and from the U.S. goes into effect tomorrow. Other countries in the region announcing similar moves on Monday.
When we saw the increase in the number of cases and therefore the risk of incursion to our medical system, we had to make decisions.
Under the new policy, most non-citizens who have been to India within the past 14 days are not eligible for travel to the U.S. In Atlanta, Jonathan Seri, Fox News.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants New York City subways running around the clock. That was the case until the start of the pandemic, when New York City's Metropolitan Transit Authority shut subways down from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. to clean the train cars. The Transit Authority has since narrowed that window from 2 to 4 a.m.
People work at 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, but subways aren't working at this point at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So today, joined by New Yorkers who are among the millions that use the subway, we are here to say, open it up 24/7. We want the subway to always run. New York's been famous for having a 24-hour subway service.
Schumer says he's ridden the subway in the last week or two, but hasn't taken it during the overnight in a long time. Authorities are searching for a New York college sophomore who disappeared more than a week ago. Police say 19-year-old Sanaya Dennis was last seen on the SUNY Buffalo State College campus on April 24th. Reporter Brandon Lewis has the latest.
It's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and it's just not adding up. It's not adding up.
19-year-old Buffalo State College student Sanaya Dennis has been missing since last weekend. Surveillance video captured Sanaya on an elevator in Bishop Hall around 11 p.m. on Saturday, April 24th. Moments later, she was also caught on video near the college's Performing Arts Center near Elmwood Avenue. University police say her phone signal was also tracked to a cell tower near Goat Island near Niagara Falls State Park just before 1:30 a.m. on April 25th. Law enforcement tell Spectrum News since then Sanaya hasn't communicated with family or friends, and there's been no cell phone, electronic, or financial activity from her.
On Monday, we got the welfare check call, and
Sunday.
then Monday.
No, Sunday evening. I spoke to her myself.
She has a record on her phone when
Sunday
she called.
evening.
It's Sunday.
I left on Monday, and that's how I arrived here, like in the middle of the night, going into Tuesday. I left at 5 p.m. on Monday. We arrived here about 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday. I called on Sunday night.
Sanaya's family came up from New York City to get some answers as to what happened to her.
My daughter's a black honor roll student at the college and has no tendency of doing nothing. We're all baffled what's going on.
She was a good friend, a good person. She has a good heart.
Her family says they believe Sanaya texted them late Saturday into early Sunday morning. They also say call records indicate she was in constant communication with someone on Saturday going into Sunday. That person has not been identified by the family. Police are also trying to figure out how she or her phone got to the Niagara Falls area.
Why does it take so long to get subpoenas to cell phone records? Why does it take so long to get video footage of buses? If this was somebody else's kid, I'm just gonna put it like that. If this was somebody else's kid, I think it would have happened like this.
Friday's press conference ended with the police chief revealing to the family and media that the Niagara Frontier Transportation Authority has video of Sanaya. The chief then took the family in private to give further details on that footage. In Buffalo, Brandon Lewis, Spectrum News.
Police are stopping short of calling it a hate crime, but New York City community leaders say an attack on an Indian man on Monday is exactly that. The incident was captured by surveillance video. Kieran Dillon has the victim's story.
This surveillance video shows 32-year-old Sumit Ahluwalia enter the lobby of a Brooklyn hotel after he was confronted by an unknown man outside the premises on Monday morning. The suspect then appears to hit Ahluwalia in the head with a hammer before running off. Ahluwalia says right before the attack, the suspect told him he didn't like him because of the color of his skin and also spit in his face. Police say they are now investigating the incident and searching for a suspect, but the South Asian community wants the case investigated as an anti-Asian assault. Meanwhile, Ahluwalia, who is a new immigrant from India, says the incident has left him shaken up and saddened.
Now is a feeling I'm scared somehow, but now when I'm going to work, like when I'm walking, I have some fear like maybe somebody coming. Everyone come to this country with a new hope. And now is something other feeling in the mind, like why even I didn't say anything, not my fault, why I get this, right?
Andrew Brown Jr. being laid to rest today. Family, friends, and invited guests gathered at Fountain of Life Church in Elizabeth City, North Carolina to say their final farewells. An ensemble of songs and praise filled the church as the service began, many mourners standing and clapping and wearing T-shirts with Brown's image. The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy. Other speakers included members of Brown's family as well as civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Relatives have said that Brown was a proud father of 7 who was known for entertaining them with his jokes and stories. Brown, 42 years old, was shot and killed by deputies almost 2 weeks ago as they attempted to serve a search warrant. He was unarmed. The New York Department of Environmental Conservation kicked off Compost Awareness Week to highlight the benefits of composting. The DEC says no methane is emitted when organic materials are composted, unlike when they're sent to a landfill. About 700,000 tons of organic material is processed at New York compost facilities every year. Details on how to compost at home and where to find a compost facility can be found on the New York DEC's website. The world will find out later this week whether former President Donald Trump can get his old Facebook account back. The company's oversight board will announce Wednesday if his indefinite suspension will end. Facebook originally suspended Trump's account following the January 6th riots at the Capitol. It then referred the decision to its oversight board, which has the final say on content decisions. Last month, that board said it received more than 9,000 public comments regarding the suspension. The decision on whether to restore Trump's access to Facebook and Instagram is due at 9 a.m. Wednesday. Still ahead tonight, an amazing story that took place on a flight from Utah to Hawaii. A woman unexpectedly gives birth to a baby boy at 29 weeks.
That was super emotional. Mom teared up. I think it's finally like soaking in for all of us. It's been kind of crazy since that happened.
More on how this turned into a trip the family will never forget, and the 4 medical experts that happened to be on board to help.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. A little bit of rain this afternoon resulted in a little bit cooler conditions in some areas in Elmira and also in Corning, reporting temperatures that are a little bit cooler but warmer conditions in Bath, about 6 degrees warmer this afternoon. We are expecting temperatures to be a little bit warmer than normal heading into your Tuesday as the jet stream continues to make its way to the north, allowing for that warm air to expand right over the Twin Tiers. So again, we are expecting the warmth to continue, even though we are expecting another storm system to spread some rain across our area for your Tuesday. Behind this cold front, though, we are expecting cooler conditions for the end of the week. So on Wednesday, there will be some lingering showers behind that front. This low will continue to move away, allowing for cooler air to move in for your Wednesday and Thursday. So even though we're enjoying temperatures that are quite warm, we are going to see it come to an end. So here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow. Temperatures will be around 61 degrees at 8 o'clock, warming up to around 73 degrees by noon, and it looks like we could hit the mid to upper 70s in the late afternoon, but there will be chances of showers throughout the afternoon into the evening hours, and we are expecting more rain for your Wednesday. So here's a look at your future radar. For tonight into early tomorrow, there will be a few showers moving in and out of our area. This will continue during the day on Tuesday. I'm expecting most of the rain to come in the afternoon. We're going to take a little bit of a break in the morning, and then the showers will return by mid-afternoon into the evening hours, and we could see some heavy rain overnight Tuesday into Wednesday. Around 7 o'clock in the morning, there will be some heavier rain, I think maybe just to our east, but Hornell, Bath, Corning, we could see some moderate rain moving in. But all this will be moving out by 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday as that cold front finally sweeps through the region. Tonight, we are expecting cloudy conditions with a few showers hanging around. Lows will be in the mid to upper 50s. Highs tomorrow will be in the upper 70s, so that's going to be about 10 degrees above normal. We are expecting a few showers again in the late afternoon into the evening hours that will linger into your Wednesday. Cooler conditions on Wednesday with a high around 61, and then we drop down into the 30s by Thursday morning. Highs on a Thursday will be a chilly 57 degrees. And we're going to stay in the 50s through the end of the week, back into the 60s, though, by early next week, with a little bit more cloud cover on Sunday and Monday.
One boy is going to have an interesting story to tell for the rest of his life. He was born somewhere over the Pacific Ocean on his way to Hawaii from Utah. It happened on an airplane, and lucky for the family, by that sheer luck, 4 medical experts were on board to help. Brian Schnee has the amazing story.
Did you ever expect this was going to happen? Oh my God.
Orem resident Lavi Monga sits in a hospital room in Hawaii with her newborn son.
It's a long name. It's Raymond, Kaimana, Wade, Kobe, Lavaki Monga.
A lot has happened in the past few days for these two. Just last week, Lavi was flying from Salt Lake City to Honolulu for a vacation.
That was super emotional. Mom teared up. I think it's finally like soaking in for all of us. It's been kind of crazy since that happened.
The vacation flight to paradise turned into a trip so many will never forget.
halfway through the flight, there was an emergency call. And we've had these before, and usually they're pretty clear. You know, is there a doctor on board? This call was not like this. This call was medical, help.
At 29 weeks along in her pregnancy, Lavi went into labor midway through the flight. Luckily for her, there just so happened to be plenty of medical expertise on board, including a family physician.
I don't know how a patient gets so lucky as to have 3 neonatal intensive care nurses on board the same flight when she is in emergency labor.
Those 3 Kansas City NICU nurses were headed to vacation as well. By the time they reached Lavi on the plane, she had an emergency delivery, and her baby was already in her hands.
You know, I talked to the flight attendant. I said, where are we at in the flight plan? And she says, we're past the point of no return. You know, we can't turn around and go back to the mainland. It's too late. So we've got to head for Honolulu as fast as possible.
For 3 hours, all 4 medical professionals on board kept the premature newborn stable, and they were able to touch ground.
As the ambulance crew came on board and we rolled a chair over through the aisle to move mom and baby into the chair, as we moved mom, baby woke up, and for the first time in 3 hours, he cried. And somebody took a video online, and you can hear him crying all the way out the plane. And we were just cheering at that point. We were so excited.
This summer, pools across the U.S. will open to eager families seeking some fun in the sun. But that fun can come at a cost. Each day, about 10 people die from unintentional drowning. Of these, 2 are children aged 14 or younger, according to the CDC. And those deaths don't have to happen. Mandy Gaither has more on how to stay safe in the water in today's Health Minute.
It was a vow made to his grandmother.
If she would stop smoking, then I would learn how to swim.
So let's get those goggles on. 6 years later,
She said, by time.
this NFL running back took the plunge to keep the promise.
Times when I've almost drowned it. I feel a little pressure. Oh, I need to learn how to swim.
Edo Smith set out to prove it's never too late. Teaming up with a group of kids learning the same lessons.
These kids learning to swim, it would change their whole life.
Drowning can happen in 30 seconds or less.
Pediatric ER Dr. Sarah Lazarus has seen firsthand the dangers of the water. That's why she and Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life are pushing the Arms Reach, Eyes Reach program.
You want to keep a child that can't swim well within arm's reach because a child could slip out of your grip very quickly, and children who can swim at least 2 lengths of the pool within eyes reach.
And knowing how to swim is important, no matter your age. A pool and a promise now fulfilled.
I'm here to tell her, hey, I learned how to swim. I finally got it. We even now.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A man deliberately walked out on his tab at an Alaska diner 8 months ago. Well, he returned months later to pay, and he also gave the owners a note that touched their hearts. Marlise Irby has the story.
Today seemed like any other day for Andy Kreiner and his wife Naran this morning at Kreiner's Diner. But that changed in a moment after Naran waited on a man this morning.
When he was done eating, he left a note, and it's pretty cool. Haven't seen anything like this in the 35 years I've been, 35 or 40 years I've been in the restaurant business.
Andy said Naran walked up to him with tears in her eyes and handed him a note that a customer gave her after paying his tab. The anonymous letter read in part.
Says, Dear Mr. Kreiner, when I was stuck in my addiction, I ate here last September. I left without paying. I'm truly sorry and regret my past actions. I understand if you're mad. Of course I'm not mad. I'm currently in recovery and have over 7.5 months 100% clean and sober. Please accept this money. Good day, sir. And that's like so awesome.
We talked with Andy, who was holding back tears as he spoke about the customer.
You know, once in a while people walk out, but I've never had anybody come back, especially with a heartfelt note like this, and it's just awesome.
So while the customer left with a full stomach, Andy and Naran were left with a full heart.
One little word of kindness goes a long way. You never know whose day you're going to make, you know, by being nice to somebody, and you know, this guy made my day because his letter was so heartfelt, it just made my day.
And Andy had a message for the customer as well.
Just stay on the road to recovery and believe in God. And of course, I'm not mad at you. I'm proud of you. So.
Visitors to the Colosseum in Rome will soon get to see the structure as it was in ancient times. Italy's culture ministry is adding a new floor to the arena. The floor was removed in the 19th century by architects to get a view of the passageways underneath. Doing so revealed a network of hatches, hoists, and machinery used to bring men and animals up to the floor of the nearly 2,000-year-old Colosseum. The $22 million sustainable construction project will largely restore the structure to its previous condition and allow those ancient machines to work again. Construction is scheduled to be completed in 2023. A Virginia woman created a social media meme campaign to try to get a company to fix a cable that had been down for weeks. Jake Korf spoke to the homeowner behind the entertaining memes.
This is half of them. Tamara Spink loves spending time with her dogs in a backyard the source of so much angst turned into joy. I'm tired of being mad at things. Spink says on March 28th, a storm knocked down her Comcast cable. It was the entire length of the backyard, so it's got to be over 100 feet. But weeks later, the cable giant still hadn't fixed it. And they also kept insisting that, in fact, our cable was buried. And that wasn't the case because I would send them pictures. It was a little bit insane. Since the conventional approach to solving her problem wasn't working, Spink went the funny route. It did blow up. It did blow up. Tony Hawk was shredding it, just like we were shredding it, getting attention on the matter. She and friends created and posted on social media silly meme after silly meme. I did Johnny Cash. That was funny. Famous for the song, I Walk the Line. There were animals, friendly and ferocious. Plenty of high-wire acrobatics, and who could forget Bernie Sanders? There was Bernie. Bernie made it with his mittens in the chair. He was very concerned about the infrastructure. It got our attention, too. On Wednesday, I asked Comcast what was taking so long. They never answered that question, but a few hours later, crews were repairing that down cable. Comcast issued a statement saying, "We apologize for the inconvenience. We repaired the line and have been in touch with the customer." It got fixed by grassroots campaign of support. And I think where it really hit the attention was when corporate got contacted by 7 on Your Side. Her latest meme celebrates the cable's return skyward. It's an ode to the 1980 U.S. gold medal hockey team. Do you believe in miracles? My goal is to just stay true to who I want to be. And I think the memes are a way to do that.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Turns out little brothers aren't so bad after all. An 8-year-old girl from Maine battling a bone marrow failure disorder is back home after a successful bone marrow transplant. And it's all thanks to her little brother. Earlier this year, Journey Gartner's family began testing family and friends to be possible bone marrow transplant candidates. Well, turns out Journey's 2-year-old brother Ezra was a perfect donor match. Their mom says the transplant went so well at Boston Children's Hospital that Journey was able to be discharged much earlier than expected. The family's church held her a welcome home parade. Meanwhile, Journey says she can't wait to hang out more with her brothers now that she's back home. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.